Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Freeman Files here on the J Free 906 podcast channel. And there's Tom Burns. Oh, there's Seth. Seth, how you doing?
Seth is back.
He disappeared.
H-O-H-O-H-O. Let's go.
Tis the season.
Tis the
Get
season
the L
indeed.
T-shirt on everything, guys.
Oh,
Also,
look at that.
nice.
Squad shirt.
You need some digging done. I'm your guy.
Yep. That's funny because I've got my wrong hand. I got my Christmas tree over here, my little personal one, because I was asking the better half if I was able to put all my Star Trek ornaments on my tree,
Ooh.
and she said on the tree out there, and she said no.
Oh.
She said, but you can set one up in the office and put them all on there. So I did. I got a whole bunch of Star Trek ornaments on it. Oh, I got this
Very
one here.
cool.
I didn't put this one on the tree because I like playing with it.
Oh, that's cool.
Communicator. Yeah.
Very
Anyway.
cool.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
And welcome. Thank you for coming tonight. We appreciate it very much. And as I always say, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel and click on that notification bell, especially because coming up here this next 2 weeks, I'm going to be, really busy, as I'm sure a lot of you are as well. And so what we're going to do is not have a podcast until the 2nd. I believe that's a Friday. No podcast on the 24th or the 31st. We'll do double up on January 2nd, which is a Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So I know I'm blowing everybody's mind with all of that. What night? We're always on Wednesday night, but here's
I
the holiday.
know.
Now,
well, you'll get a chance to recover after New Year's. See, so.
yeah. Hopefully, the studio will be all set up in the RV and the RV down in Florida. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Hey,
back
Coach.
to work. Oh, all right. Live long and prosper. Yes, indeed. Oh, that's what the one of them says. It was the very first Hallmark. It's all the Hallmark ones that they put out. Deep Space Nine and the Enterprise and all those. And it's also got the one of my favorite episodes is The Guardian, when they went back in time to that old city. I forgot I can't remember the name of it now. I lost her. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. That's a whole different show on Beyond Our World. We're here to talk about The Curse of Oak Island, episode number 7 of season 13, Walk the Line. Wasn't that a Johnny Cash song? Something like that?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay, I thought so. I wasn't sure. But now, if the one caveat to us not having a podcast for the next 2 weeks is this, if there is something earth-shattering on next week's show on Tuesday night, Tom and I don't know about Seth, but I know Tom and I, we may come on and do a news at noon on Christmas Eve. I know that's a crazy day, right? Christmas Eve at noon, and do like maybe a 30-minute to kind of update everybody as to what's going on. So, yeah, I know it's hard for me. I get to Wednesday, I'm like, Wednesday, oh wait, there's no podcast tonight. Oh geez, what am I going to do?
What are you going to do with yourself?
Yeah, but we have lots to do. So Christmas Eve is, we've got family. We're going to be with family and stuff. And like I'm sure a lot of you are on the City on the Edge of Forever. Thank you. Yes, that's the one, Sue. All right. I knew somebody would get that. Thank you very much. That's one of my favorite episodes. And actually, it's right, the ornament for it's right there, right above my microphone, right there. It shows Kirk and McCoy jumping back through the thing there with Joan Collins. Yes. Wow. You guys are Trekkies, just like Trekkies,
Trekkies.
just like I am. All right. So I think that's it with the announcements. But again, I also wanted to say thank you very much to everyone who has been supporting the show all year long. Those in the Patreon and those who do the super chats and the things like that, or help to support in other ways. Thank you all so very, very much. I really appreciate it. It really, truly helps to keep all this going. And no, it doesn't pay for going to Florida. That's out of my pocket, but it does. All of it goes right back into the podcast to keep this all going. So thank you all very, very much. I do appreciate it. And I hope you two have a very Merry Christmas, and Linda and Jan and all of our friends out there. Anyway, all right. Shall we get to it? Oh, we got a giveaway tonight too. And that is, if I can get all my stuff organized here. I had this picture up. we do have a giveaway tonight, and I guess we're going to do 2 giveaways when we get to the Friday show that we're going to be doing 2 episodes. Linda's nodding. Yes. Okay. So I got that right. This one is in honor of our good friend Carmen Legg, who actually appeared last night on the episode. We'll be talking about him here in just a little bit. Carmen Legg, yeah, a Carmi shirt, a Carmi shirt, a Carmi shirt, and a book, and an Oak Island Con 2025 bag. Yeah, so that's what we got for a giveaway tonight. We'll be discussing that here in just a little bit. Oh, that book is an absolute hoot.
It is. Yep, I've got a copy. It's hilarious.
When you read it, do you hear Carmen's voice in your head?
I hear Carmen's. I also hear, like, having grown up, close to the country and spent some time in the country, we used to sit around the card table on a Saturday night, and I, as a kid, would listen to the old people tell stories.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, because it just comes raging back in your mind.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's great. Good times. All right. So anybody, and anyway, we will talk about that when we get to that point in the show tonight. So let's get going, shall we? As I said, Curse of Oak Island, episode number 7, Walk the Line. And the guys start off in the money pit, which, the thing about the money pit this early in the season, and the thing of it is they're doing this drill program. There is always that hope that they're going to pull up a coin or the one thing, whatever that may be, a coin or a jewel or some piece of treasure to indicate to them that they're looking in the right spot or they found the correct spot. And also for caissons, right, Tom? Isn't that kind of the idea that they're
you're trying to figure out where you're going to put your caissons, right? Really, right? They know they're going to go through the solution channel. They know that there's stuff down there. It's a matter of seeing if they can get lucky and hit something.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've never gone that deep before. As Steve said, they've got 5% of that place has never been, or only less than 5% of that place has actually been.
That's crazy to think. That's crazy to think, especially when we show that map that they showed last week with 600 boreholes in it, worm spaghetti, a bowl of spaghetti.
Right.
Yeah. And not only that, but you think about it, they always, people in their minds, they envision these great big 3 by 4 foot treasure chests. Well, you can't fill a 3 or 4 foot treasure chest and pick it up and move it.
Nope.
Right? They're going to be smaller cask barrels, chests, something, and even those would weigh several hundred pounds.
Yep. Exactly.
So, and they're going down there with what, an 8-inch drill or whatever it is.
6,
trying to hit something. Yeah, trying to hit. So good luck.
Yeah, absolutely. And then walk in. Go ahead.
Yep.
Go ahead, Seth.
It's weird that we haven't seen any wood, and it's funny because usually we're like, so much wood, but we're not seeing wood. And I feel like they're right where I would picture, especially after last week when we had Jeremy on, I would, we're going to picture all this, like what Tom's describing. I don't picture that moving through this thick muck. The flow's not that strong down there. So
you think there would be some wood down there though, on fiber?
Yeah, where's all the wood from, like the other stuff collapsing on top of it? I don't know.
Good point.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just kind of a feeling like one of the Laginas brothers that was like, I'm kind of disappointed at the pace of the drilling. Where I don't know about the pace because the show, I don't know. Oh, yeah, Marty. I don't know what the actual pace is. But as for what they're pulling up, it's a lot of like, I don't know. There's potential, but it's still eluding us.
Yeah, my
and
only
confusing
that
me
was
too.
that they're not showing us the wood. They're only showing us like the last 20 feet of every borehole.
Okay, well that makes a lot of sense because I'm picturing no wood in each borehole. So thank you.
To Seth's point though, a collapse is a collapse, right?
Mm-hmm.
If if you've got a treasure chest, it's going to be surrounded by a wood shaft all the way down.
Right.
When part of it goes, all of it's going to go.
Solution channel.
Or some of it's going to go.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very good point. I don't know.
Yeah.
So maybe it didn't collapse into that. Of course, they did find that. Well, that was for a chunk of a drill bit. Was that off? And I know we talked about that one of those little pieces that Scott said.
A hardened piece of steel. That's off a caisson, I think, wasn't it? Or off a drill bit, or maybe off an old drill bit.
Yeah,
it's not off an old drill bit.
Yeah,
because remember they found the casing it went through.
Right. Yes.
They found the casing. Yeah.
Well, now they're drilling on the I-95, and that's a
Mm.
place you don't want to be on.
That's
if
a
you
busy
can
spot.
avoid it. Yeah. Yeah, the I-95 drilling over there. Now they've been making this ring around the rosy around TOT1, drilling all around it, which I think, and I was thinking about this again last night as I was watching the episode. Is that an indication that TOT1 was left there for a good reason because they think it gives them access to the solution chat? I don't know. Remember how we speculated about why did they leave TOT1 in the ground? And now they've been drilling all around it. It seems like they've done a complete circle around it now. Does that mean that it is in fact important? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it's obviously important, or they would have taken it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I still am wondering if it's still in the ground today.
I think it
Did
might
they
be.
come down and cap it off and put a lid on it and cover it up?
Same as C1.
I wonder
Yeah.
if that's for structural reasons at all.
Maybe. Well,
I mean,
you think about the backfill. If you put backfill in there, you're going to pour that backfill right in the solution channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that could be why they left it too, because wasn't TOT1 sitting on what they call the plateau?
Yeah.
It was partly over the. Then that's why they did the air pump, water pump, whatever they did, the airlift.
Yeah.
Because they could drop it down and miss the stone ledge and still get through it by using the caisson.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm just reading some of the chat here. No indication of it in October. No can sticking up at all. Right.
No.
So I
think I got a sneaking suspicion it went the same way as C1.
Mm-hmm.
They cut it off.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I found some other pictures of caissons there sitting along the side that don't have any of the bolt holes on them.
Right.
Right. Or any of the sliding part where one part of the tube slides into the other. Mm-hmm. It's gone.
Yeah.
So that's been cut off.
Yeah, it has to be. That's the only thing I can think. And
I cut it off.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll find out. I was just reading some of the chat here, but yeah, that's the whole thing. With this, the search in the money pit has really been kind of, you can understand the frustrations, and we'll get to that bit about matter of fact, it's coming up here in just a second, but so here it is. Here's a picture of them. And again, you see that other drill rig in the background back there.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the shots, and I think, and again, folks, they're using shots from different portions of the summer from times, because there's been a few shots where I did not see that drill rig sitting back there. This one in the back here, which is a primary one that did the work this year.
So we know that shot is somewhere between the first week of July and the first week of August. That's the only thing we know for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And you see their position at the, and I think this is true to time, because that position there is pretty close to where that I-9.5 is. So I think that's a pretty good picture there in timeline with everything else going on. So, but here, this shot here, and this was before they got to the bedrock. It was right before the bedrock on I-9.5, and that kind of looks like backfill to me, doesn't that to you, Tom and Seth?
It's got that look to it.
Yeah,
I think it does. It really does. And I'm thinking, wow, is all that, and then they hadn't hit the bedrock yet, and all the slurry at this point, but that sure looks like backfill to me. I wouldn't imagine that kind of, because usually when you're in situ or whatever, it's that clay type hard. He's in there with that chisel, really working to open it up and look inside of it. And this is just loose material. So anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess the rocks all seem similar in size. I mean, I see one big rock, but most of the others are all consistently the same size.
Yep.
I don't know if that's
wet rock dust.
Rock dust.
Yeah, they did find this one piece of he called it gypsum. Terry Matheson did. He said it was gypsum. And he was wondering if that meant that they were right on the edge or getting very close to it. They did get a hit with the pinpointer on the table, and the regular table does have some screws in it. So that's why they pick these up and they carry them over to this table that does not have any screws. And then they run the metal detector or the pinpointer over it in this particular, and they were getting a hit. You heard it going off, and I don't think that's one of those editing set where they edit in the sound of it. They were actually getting hits.
Yeah.
With the pinpointer. Now, something I wanted to point out about this pinpointer too. Pinpointer hit, and Tom says there 185 to 209. It was toward the bottom of that 209 area. But something I wanted to point out about that, and they've kind of mentioned it before, but the pinpointer and the metal detector, both, because I love to go out with the metal detector and do some work, but I've had phantom hits before. And when I talk about a phantom, and they're talking about gold, honestly, when you're at the pinpointer level, it's not discriminating. You don't get different tones for different types of metals, like you do with the metal detector.
Right.
You get higher pitched pings if it's, non-ferrous, and little, burp, burp, burps, when you're on iron or whatever. The pinpointer doesn't do that. It's just going to go off if it's picking up metal at all. The thing about this is that when mineralization, that's a good, Frantech. Thank you. If you take and you heard Katya say this before, let's take a nail. A nail's been in the ground a long time, and it has basically just become rust. That would set off your metal detector. It would also set off your pinpointer until you smear it around enough into the regular soil until it's dispersed enough that it doesn't do it anymore.
Yeah, makes sense.
So that's what's happening here.
Right.
And then we saw them, you see them there, they're bagging up some of this material to take to the interpretive center, to the lab, and have Emma run it through the scans to see if there's any precious metals or anything in those samples. And they've got several over the last couple of weeks. They've been taking bags over there. But what's the chances? And I hate to do this, I hate to say this, but what are the chances that it's more like gold you'd find naturally in a gold rivers right down, not far away?
I mean, it could be.
Do we know that it's gold that was spiking the hit if we don't know the tone?
Nope, we don't know yet.
Yeah, so it could just be like, I don't know.
Or could it be these other unnaturally occurring metals that Dr. Spooner tells us about?
Yeah, I'm really interested. I guess I get caught up in the show, and I just assumed it was a gold hit. And then you explaining the pointer, I realized, I'm a dummy. It was never confirmed it was gold, and of course that's why they're sending it.
Metal
off
detector has different tones to tell you the different metals.
Yeah.
But the pinpointer just detects metal.
Yeah. Okay.
So it could be hitting on anything in that respect. So it could be iron, it could be
gold flakes, could be silver flakes, could be ground up silver coins. It could be anything.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah. Speaking of ground up silver coins, did someone in the chat was asking, could the drill destroy a coin? I mean, imagine it could, right? If it hit it in the right spot.
Yeah, probably so.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if it hit it just right, it could.
Yeah.
More likely to just push it out of the way, I think. Unless it's against something hard and it grinds through it.
Okay. Push it up on against a rock or something. It could.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely. Because it will cut through metal. As far as I'm pretty sure that sonic drill will cut through metal.
It's going to cut through rock. It'll cut through that because silver and gold are soft metals, right?
Yeah, exactly. So,
well, it'll be really interesting to find out. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't wait till they get the analysis on this. Matter of fact, I'm really surprised we haven't seen anything yet. Dave said gold flake. Yeah, it could be. I mean, but again, we don't know what the pinpointer is picking up at this point. Unfortunately, and I'd like to see this analysis. I'm really curious about this analysis when it does happen.
Yeah.
What is the drill made of? Steel, I would imagine. The
drill itself would be steel,
but probably a harder steel on the actual teeth on it, right? Something like that.
Carbide steel or something, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So hopefully we'll get a little bit more on this as we get into the future shows. I'm hoping, every time they get these hits, and we're going to see it coming up again next week when we get to next time. We'll see just exactly what they're finding, but they're getting pinpointer hits again on next week's show.
Ooh, did y'all see Michelle Tonmeyer's comment?
I can say Michelle makes a good point.
Yeah. Everybody who's ever got that, you should, if you've got a pinpointer,
Versus
see if it.
ledger.
If you've ever
Oh,
got a jar of sand from the money pit, now's your chance.
that would be interesting. I would love to hear about that, Michelle. Let us know what you find out.
Get yourself a gold pan and get out in the yard.
Yeah,
Can it use a magnet? Pete says that's a good idea.
yeah,
See if there's anything in there.
yeah. Do it. Everybody
Cool.
shout, do it, do it, do it.
What if you just send it back to the lab if you get Emma to test it for you?
Oh man, yeah, maybe, huh? I don't know. It costs you
Return to
though.
sender.
Might cost you. I don't know what she charges for that kind of service.
Probably cost you more to ship it there.
Yeah, yep. So, all right. So, next part of the show, they jump over to lot number 5, and you see Ethan and Tansy over there working away. And right off the bat, she finds a piece of pottery.
I don't see any
showing up.
pictures if you've got them.
Oh,
You got a picture?
yeah. See, there you are. Thank you, Seth. Huh?
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm
Yeah.
on it for once.
Ethan and Tansy. There we are. Start over with that real quick. And then, the piece of pottery that they find. What did they call this piece of pottery? It was
Pearl pottery, I think. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
I'm just going from memory, but
let's see. Yep, I don't see it on here.
Pearlware. Hey, thanks,
Pearlware. Thank you. Pearlware. That's
the
it.
pearl part.
Yeah.
Pearl
that
part,
part, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
It sure is a nice blue.
Yeah.
Mm.
And again, I ask, where's the rest of the plate?
Mm-hmm.
Why do they keep just finding one or two little pieces?
And this is where I keep going back to. How deep are they? And are they spoils from someplace else that they used to bury the holes?
Has to be.
It's
It has
this.
to be.
So this is them. They got what they wanted. Now they're using the backfill from the money pit to hide it. And what we're seeing are the little remnants of items that were in different vaults and perhaps even the money pit.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. If the plate was chipped, you'd keep using it. Yeah.
Yes, you would. Yes.
Or
Yeah.
you dropped it, and you broke it, and you cleaned up all the rest, and that could somehow get trampled into the ground.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Goes down between two rocks, and
Yeah.
you never see it again.
I think it's a mixture of perhaps, some spoils from other places, as well as the multi-use, multi-generational stuff's going to happen in fall.
Yes. Pearlware versus Pearl Jam. Yes. Good band, though, by the way. I did like Pearl Jam.
It's my
And
Pearl
they
Jam
find
impression.
another Venetian bead.
Man, they keep
Those are
finding these
cool.
things.
I like those.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And again, you think about that. How many? Well, I think I've got a picture here. Oh, look at there. They found several pieces that look alike of that same type of Venetian bead,
Yep.
and then some other ones, of course, that they found.
Is it just the nature of, I guess, glass that you're never going to find it dirty? Every bead they find is like pristine looking already,
Yeah, they
right
are.
out of the
Must
ground.
be, yeah, must be.
Like, is there not a single muddy bead?
Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, you could see it as she was troweling there.
Yeah,
You
right
said,
away. I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
I go, there's a bead.
yeah.
So you get the Venetian beads at the bottom, which are the ones in theory from Malta, right? Knights of Malta, that sort of
Yes.
thing. And then the top left-hand one is the one that I think was the Scandinavian one, right?
Right.
And was this, like, I've heard them talk about Knights of Malta around Laird. I think this was the first time, at least for me, that I noticed Laird bringing up this
Yes.
speaks to the possible connection of the Knights of Malta activity. And I was like, oh, that's Laird saying it now. I
Mhm.
thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Then did you see Tansy when he walked over there and he goes, oh yeah, it's a Venetian bead from blah blah blah, and she was like, oh wow, you know all about these, and he goes, well yeah, we found some before.
Yeah.
They found a few before, so he's
Beads
well
don't
versed on them
corrode.
now. So whenever he finds them, beads don't corrode. Nope.
No.
So, but interesting though, and you wonder, what did it fall off of a necklace? These other one, like this blue one, I think that would have been possibly on embroidery in embroidery, where these other ones might have been either trade beads that somebody had in their pocket or pouch, or maybe they were on a necklace of some sort. I don't know. Hard to say.
Goodness knows.
Goodness knows. Okay. There was a little pearlware Wedgwood. Josiah Wedgwood invented or developed the ware over a period of years and then marketed it in 1779. Wow.
Interesting.
Thank you, Peaches and Sugar, giving us a little info there. I love it because you guys are the smartest group of audience in the history of the show. I think that, and I'm so glad you come over here and hang out with us and go through this with us because you guys have such great comments and information.
Oh yeah, I love reading the chat.
Yeah, they used to put beads in everything back in the day. Barb says, "Yeah, yeah." Well, they were considered a high item.
Well, they were a form of currency.
Yeah, and also
Beads were a
if
form
you
of
were
currency.
wearing them, even more so.
Yeah, no different than wearing a diamond necklace.
Yep, cool. All right, so now we're over at the lab, and here we are getting a look at the. I was going to say compass was going to come off my tongue there. The divider that was found by Katya and Peter Finetti in lot 15. And they bring it up on the scan there, and you can see the different part. That CT scan, man, that thing is awesome, isn't it? I mean, that gives you such a beautiful picture.
It's my favorite thing in the lab everything else is cool, but as far as visually, yeah, just so much fun to look at.
From that hunk of brown to this.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And the level of detail, you can see that center circle just so clearly.
You see the center pivot, yeah.
Yep. Really, really good. That's so nice. And that one there's a look at a type. I think, and you can see how this one comes around on the edge here really quickly. This one is down just a little further when it comes down to the smaller piece. But, it was interesting when they went through this thing. This is one that I think Jan found this we were talking last night about it, and Jan found this one. That's an interesting look at another one there. That one's very old. But this one dates, if you can read that down here at the very bottom, it says 1450, dating from around 1450. So, and that's very similar to what, you said divider, not compass. Yep. And that's what Carmen had said, something about 1453, actually. So, pretty cool. And there, speaking of Carmen, there he is.
The man himself.
Yep. So glad to see them bring him out. And they flipped through this real quick when they were looking. He said something to Emma about bringing up the metals on the screen there, or the metallurgy on the screen, so they could see what it was made of. And then you saw this flash by real quick, and we were like, "Oh, what was that?" Well, Tom took the time to go and
there we go
and read it. So it says the artifact identified as forged iron divider consisting of woodworking and chip applications, consistent with woodworking and chip applications. CT scan reveals a central pivot point and two long tapered legs. The absence of copper or other modern alloy elements, along with the corrosion pattern, suggest hand-forged iron, likely dating to the 18th or 19th century. Such tools were commonly used for transferring measurements and marking distances in timber construction or maritime craft. So good job, Tom, to figure out, read those fuzzy words.
What they said on the show, but you never know because it was on and off the screen like that.
Yeah, it was so fast.
Yep.
And Prometheus is going to be mad now that we caught it. So we'll probably hear about that. But the metallurgy was pretty cool that they came up with on it. But the high content of chlorine, that's the one that kind of blew me away. I mean, what do you guys take from that? And they gave an explanation. Are you buying the whole flood tunnel?
I don't know if I go with the flood tunnel thing, but
what do you think?
I don't know. It was obviously in the water for a long time. So
she says a very long time.
And if it, I mean, they tilled the soil, right? So that tells me that it's shallow. It's not necessarily in situ. It could have been brought from somewhere else. It had to have been brought from someplace else. It spent so much time, according to the chemical reports, in salt water. It had to come from someplace else.
I think it's more likely someone living on the island found it in the water and picked it up at some point and then dropped it on the hill.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't
Can't rule
know.
it out. Can't rule it out.
I mean, you know what? That's as viable of explanation as any other. You know, and they mentioned something about that last week. What do you all in the chat think? Somebody, Pete says from a shipwreck.
Yeah.
But I mean, think about that. I mean,
Shipwreck
they did
certainly could
build-
be, but how did it get to the highest point on the island?
right. The highest point on the island.
That is a coincidence.
I personally
ship.
lost about a dozen pair of dividers, tend to be almost almost indisposable.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know, but the high content of chlorine. So
The important thing to me with the divider is the age,
yeah,
right? It didn't float to Oak Island.
no,
It arrived on Oak Island sometime pre 1600,
yes,
in my opinion,
yeah. That's the important takeaway
right? Or
from the whole.
even pre 1800, still pre money pit.
Right. Now, when they were first talking about this thing up there, they were kind of referring to the fact of, I think it was Craig Tester that brought up talking about the Dunfield Big Dig and Dunfield. And I think Peter Finetti said something about the spoils from the Dunfield dig. Some of the spoils were spread out over lot 16 and 15, and because the money pit's on 18, so they would have been spread out over 17 and 16 and 15, I guess. But also, well, he also had to have the dirt to put back in the hole. So I don't know where, when he filled it back in.
It's always leftovers when you dig a hole, I guess.
Yeah. It never packs down the way, yeah. You have more dirt left over at the end of it.
But
Right?
here's the other thing too. If you were, based on the description they gave, the purposes for woodworking or shipbuilding or whatever, any type of measurement you want to do, if you were measuring timbers to cut for dowels and holes and timbers in a shaft or a tunnel, right? Wouldn't you be using that for a measurement tool down there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Especially if he said it was, significantly longer than what you're seeing in the picture.
Yeah. They were broken off. So, yeah. So, I like the idea that it was flood tunnels and it was in the flood tunnels or something. And because we know that Dunfield also went down and tore Smith's Cove apart pretty badly. So did he dig that up somewhere? Did it come out of the money pit in this big dig here and get spread out? And that's where it's found? Because like you had said, Tom, that wasn't down in the situ. It was up on kind of on the surface. I mean, they did a little plowing there, but I don't believe that one was in the plowed area. That was in the.
That was a different spot. Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember now, to be honest. But it wasn't that far down, really. So I don't know.
So it wasn't that far down because he dug it with a shovel. So
right, exactly. So how it got there, don't know. But the fact that it's old, that is important.
Dating of it is what the important thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, Rick had mentioned, lot 15, and he was talking about lot 15, and he said, well, up here in lot 15, we had those stone cairns, those stone piles, and they kind of did a little flashback on these. And I thought it was important to kind of talk about these as well, because they were up in this area, and they did a little flashback talking about when they were over in Denmark. This was where they were laid out. Excuse me, in this configuration here, they've been obliterated, kind of. They've been torn apart because they thought maybe there was treasure underneath them.
Yeah, they dug them all up.
Yep. Right, they dug them all up. But they were over in Denmark, and thank you, Linda, for remembering that it was Denmark or finding out, because I couldn't remember where they had gone. But this was pretty darn remarkable right here, that the layout of the cairns were matched to a star formation, but they also matched exactly with how they're laid out on Oak Island. Now, is that a coincidence?
It's a pretty darn weird one if it is.
Yeah. So I love it in a way. I love it when sometimes when they go back and they do these, if they're not talking about Phipps and Belcher, I love when they go back and they talk about some of the old stuff like this, because it reminded me, oh, that's right. Yeah, they did find, and it matched exactly. I mean, that's a pretty damn good match too.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty definitive clue, right? If you were sailing and you were told to go find a certain spot, find the highest spot on the hill on an island, if these symbols match a certain constellation, you're in your right spot, and here's where you go from there.
Yeah. Now, something you had said before we got started tonight was about that divider being found up there.
Yep. I mean, that's where you go to the highest spot if you're going to map
Right.
or measure on any
So-
island. You go up there to map or measure.
Exactly. And if we're going to date this thing to about that, if it doesn't go, even if it did go back to the 1400s, and we have things on Oak Island like the Stone Road, Stone Platform, and whatnot that are dated 1200s, multi-generational, right? This would have been somebody else that was looking for those cairns, maybe, or whatever, and they were using that to help them in a map and to help them find everything. I don't know. Thank you, Craig. Appreciate that, sir.
I imagine too, like if in addition to every generation treasure depositing, treasure taking, they would also take it upon themselves to do a sort of megalithic structure and leave their mark.
Yep. Yep. We've talked about that. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. If it means that much to them to do Nolan's Cross or Tree of Life, if you want to take it that far, they did it for a very good reason that was important to them. So, but yeah, so those cairns pretty important, but again, was it used for that purpose? That's why it was on lot 15. We just don't know. There's no way of knowing for sure. All right, it is time for our giveaway.
Whoop, whoop.
Yep, and we'll get Linda in here and we'll talk about this as soon as she's ready. But all right, so the giveaway again, folks, you have to be a member of our Facebook group page. When you're there, there's a link for it down below in the description. When you're there, Linda will put out a post in the Facebook group page to say, show a picture of what the giveaway is. This week, it is a Carmen Leg blacksmithing t-shirt, and also his book, Like a Fella Says, and a bag from the Oak Island Con 2025 is our giveaway this week. And all you have to do on that post that Linda puts in our Facebook group page is reply or comment yes. That's up. Just comment yes, and you will be entered into the giveaway. And you have to be present at the podcast to win. So,
and please just enter once.
yes, just once. And we're going through. You're only allowed to win once during the season episodes until the season finale. Then everybody's back in for that one.
Boop, boop.
So, yep. All right. What do you think, Linda? You ready?
I'm ready.
Seth, you're on.
Spin that wheel.
That's what we're all waiting for.
Yes, that wheel for sure. All right, here we go.
All right, let me turn it up. It's having
Higher.
some sort of attack.
Raise it up just a little bit. There you go.
That
Now we
sounds
can-
like Monty Python coconuts.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
It's, believe it or not, it is. Oh, we can't
higher.
raise it up a little higher.
Who won?
I can't tell. Oh, Sandra.
Sandra Perio.
Sandra, are you here? I thought I
We see her there.
thought maybe I saw her name.
I was too caught up in the
And the horse. You're having a flashback.
Diddle it. Monty Python. Yep.
Yes.
Sandra, are you here? Let us know if you are here. You must be present.
To receive it.
Well, Zane gave her a shout out, so she was.
Nice.
Sandy. Hello. Oh, she did
not
not
good.
up. I know the show
This
was
is
so
not good.
riveting.
Oh, there she is.
Here. Yes. All
There we
right. There we go. All right. Good deal.
All right, Sandy, if you will message me with your address, I will get this in the mail to you maybe tomorrow, but maybe not until Friday. One or the other. You'll have it by Christmas.
Good deal. All right. Yeah.
Thanks,
Run
everybody.
away. Run away. That was a
Thanks,
great
Linda.
movie. I don't know.
Remember, 2 giveaways
Run
next
away.
time on January 2nd.
Yes. 2 giveaways on January 2nd.
Yep.
All right, congratulations, Sandy. All right, yeah, Runaway. That was a great movie. I'm sorry, I know it's one of the. It's like the Three Stooges.
From,
You
from
know,
Star Trek and Monty Python. Yep.
your better half watches it, and she's like, "This is so stupid,"
Yeah,
and you're
right.
just laughing your butt off. And
Yep.
it's
Been
a
there.
guy thing. All right, as we continue on going down that rabbit hole. All right, we're going to jump over to the research center in Scott's office. And this is where they brought up, Steve Guptill brought up this here. I guess they had taken, Laird had taken some drone pictures and had kind of, got these pictures from, he did a 3D rendering of this feature. Dark organic soil and a stick was found down below. Why is a piece of wood, right? Oh, geez, another piece of wood. This one's important because it could help them date when this was put together. I don't think there's any doubt that this was man-made. What do you guys think?
Absolutely not. If you look at it, there's absolutely no doubt is what I mean to say. If you look at it from the top, from Laird's aerial shot looking down,
yep,
there's no question it's too uniform. It's too everything. Yeah. I mean, look at that. That's man-made.
Oh yeah, yeah. From the size of the rocks to the positioning, the directional position, and just the fact too that we're also fascinated
around
with
it. Yep, uniform width around it.
Yep.
It calls to you. Even with just that little bit was sticking out of the ground, they were like, "What is this?" And I feel like that in itself, it's doing what it was meant to do, and that's getting your attention.
Yeah, I know when Rick had mentioned last week, and he was talking about the 6 foot 72 inches. And he was talking about the Templars and this the rule of 72 from John Edwards and all of that.
Yep.
Initially, I was like, "Oh, you're speculating worse than we do, Rick."
Oh, I loved it.
I know, and I'm going to say here, but if you look at this structure, if they really wanted to just put a marker in the ground, they could have simply had a stone standing up with a stone on the bottom holding it up, and not had all these rocks around the outside. They didn't need to be there.
Yep.
So for them to be there and then measure 6 feet across, they had to have done that on purpose.
It'd be kind of like if you're going along and you're looking for this particular marker, and you find this stone sticking up out of the ground. You say, "Okay, I think this is the marker." Well, you got to ask your question: how do you know this is the marker?
Right. Right.
Well, I know it's the marker because it's surrounded by 6 feet of stone.
Yes. There you go. Perfect. And that is an important number to certain peoples. So, and you go ahead.
I was just going to be a nerd and say, this is the stuff that I love about Oak Island is all like the, just the levels of like symbolism that the depositors left behind. It wasn't just, like we were saying earlier, it wasn't just leaving gold. It was so much more. It's almost like and all the artists too, they just love to add all these little hidden things. And it's almost like how much can you find? Ha ha ha,
No, Linda, 6 foot. No, not 5'8". It's 6. 6 foot. Rick said so, and I believe him.
Yep.
Whatever Rick says. But this was the little drawing that Steve Guptill had done when he was looking at it. And Steve was all over this thing. I mean, he was all over this thing, and he was talking about markers that were made by the Templars and the Vikings. I'm sorry, the Romans and the Vikings. Romans and the Vikings. And he was talking about how they mark them for property ownership or to mark like mile marker on a road. Yeah. Or to mark property, possession of property, things like that. Or maybe directional markers. Like maybe in this case, I think they have a good case. As we go through this, we'll dig into this as we go along here, but I think there's a good case to be made that this was indeed some sort of a marker. Now, lot 5. I mean, he talked about the Romans and the Vikings. I still am not going to sit here and say that I think Romans were on the island. I do not believe that Romans were on the island, but
right.
No. I'm of the school of thought that the Vikings utilized Roman technology,
Yes.
right, and Roman methodology in the way they did certain things.
Right.
I don't believe the
Yeah, I
Romans
mean-
sailed there.
And don't we have Roman symbols all over our government's currency
Yes.
and, buildings? Like, I feel like, that
They
doesn't
were-
mean we're Romans.
They were very influential.
Right.
Yeah. So, like someone in the chat said, he said it goes back to the Romans and
Right.
Vikings.
Right.
But the fun thing about the Vikings is you can't instantly cut them out and dismiss it the way you can with the Romans, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm the type of person that would love to think about the Romans being on Oak Island, but
Yeah.
I will
Yeah,
see that that's unlikely.
Yeah, the
at
big difference, I
best.
think, is the Vikings were known to be travelers and explorers.
Yeah, I could totally see the Vikings
Yep,
doing that.
and we
this
know
being
that-
one of the earliest.
And we know for a fact the Vikings were in Atlantic Canada.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's not
Yes.
that's not disputable. It's where else they went.
Mm.
And depending on who you talk to, could they have been down around Nova Scotia and up into the Bay of Fundy here in New Brunswick? Absolutely.
Yes, Phil, I did. And I did see that. I meant to go back and grab a picture, but we got busy today and I didn't go back. But Phil's talking about there is a few pictures. And I thought, when I looked at them, I thought maybe they were, there were some portions that were kind of blacked out, like they were hiding something. I think that is part of not so much hiding something, but the 3D rendering. There was a couple of views, and let me see. I don't think mine show it.
Mm.
There was a couple of views.
on the ones that
yeah,
were there?
here's one here. Here's
Yeah.
one here. This one does show it. I'll point it out to you real quick. Right down here in the bottom right-hand corner. See how this section right here is
Oh yeah.
blacked out?
Yep.
There was a few pieces that were a few shots that I saw from the show that had certain portions that were blacked out, and I think that has to do with the 3D rendering,
I think it is. I think
not
it's
so
drone.
much
I think
they were
it's drone.
hiding something. But good catch. I mean, we're always looking for, and you might be
You
right.
never know.
You never
Yeah.
know. Yes, you could be right. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that I'm
Yeah.
correct in saying that, but I think it has to do with, my opinion is it has to do with the 3D render.
That's the way with that.
but
With the way the computer's rendering the picture.
Yeah, exactly. And you see that there. And there was other ones that had little portions that were blacked out on the bottoms of rocks and things. So I thought that might be what it is, but you might be right, Phil. You might be. And thank you for sending that to me, by the way, too. You guys, my email address is jfree906@gmail.com. So if you have stuff like that you've noticed in the show that we didn't catch, please send it and tell me like that, like Phil did. I appreciate that very much, because we're doing the best we can to try to review these shows and dig into them, but we miss stuff all the time. So thank you. Yeah, they did find a stick at the bottom, Dave, and they're getting C14 testing done on that. There it is.
I was just looking at another overhead shot that's straight down,
Yeah.
and that gray area extends all the way around the bottom of the stone.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that's an area that the camera didn't pick up with enough detail to be able to fill it in.
Yeah. Yeah. See it. Yeah. I don't see it in that one, but there was there. Oh, you see it in this one right here. See it
Mhm.
right there. You can see it.
Interesting.
So it just, there's little areas that were blacked out. And I think it's simply because of the camera didn't catch it right in the 3D rendering. But again, could be wrong.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. Now, and again, we've talked about, no, I don't believe that Romans were on Oak Island and roaming around on lot 5, roaming around lot 5. But the Vikings definitely are known to have had Roman coins. That's been proven
Absolutely.
with other other Viking encampments where they found Roman coins. Put the two together. What do you got? Does 1 and 1 equal 2 there?
Well, I mean, who was your first international bankers? Templars.
Yeah, exactly.
Currency's currency.
Exactly.
Whatever value you want to put on it, right? So if you want to use Japanese yen or American dollars, Canadian dollars, rubles, whatever, currency's currency.
Yeah. And all within, like Tom says here, 250 feet of the split stone structure. So, yeah, very close. So was that a marking from the Vikings, who would have gotten a lot of information from the Templars?
Yes.
They might have learned the rule of 72 from them.
Yes.
And that's why it's exactly
see-
6 foot across.
Exactly, Linda.
Oh, she's going to throw something at me in a minute. I know here's something else I wanted this, and you see how this was placed. I had one really good picture here. Oh, this one here. It's something that I wanted to really point out on this is how this stone here, the one that was standing on its edge, the
Mhm.
split stone standing on its edge, was being partially supported by this stone right over here.
Hmm.
That is the other half of that stone, I believe. Roman coins have been found in Iceland.
Yep.
So,
Well, what does Iceland have to do with Vikings? Just kidding.
Well, you ever heard of Leaf, Erickson?
Yeah. It's their version of the quick stop.
Yeah. Yeah. They had to stop for fuel
Hmm.
and food. Yep. Yeah. So, but the thing I wanted to point out about this was that some people could say, well, that stone that split, these two halves simply split and one fell over and the other one still sitting where it was, that it split and just flopped over. But that's not how it was laying in the ground. And that you can see right there.
Oh, yeah.
See, when he
dang.
started digging that out with the excavator, it wasn't laying there like it just fell over.
No,
It was laying in a different position. It was actually supporting it,
he was holding the other stone up.
holding the other stone up. Correct.
Wow.
Yep.
So they split it and reversed it, propped it up.
I think so.
Wow.
I think so. Yeah.
They might have. For them to split that, they couldn't split it underground. They had to split it on top of the ground and then place it in the hole.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. So you put it's like putting a funeral monument up. You put your base down, and then you put your monument on top.
Right.
Has to be split above ground. Because
Yep.
they split those things with chisels, right? You
Yep.
just put a line of chisels around them, iron chisels, and you beat it into the rock, and that's
Yep.
what causes the rock to actually split.
Yep. So, and I think that, if they split it, they probably did so from the bottom. You can see some, and I was looking at that. There was some like little marks here where the little chisels may have gone in. Don't know. I'm not there to examine it, and I'm not a geologist. Would that be a geologist? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Somebody that would be able to give an expert opinion on it, but it looked like on the bottom here, like,
Archaeologists would be able to tell you.
yeah, that had some points on it because you don't really see any on the top.
Yeah, I looked
But,
for them on top. I didn't see any, but my picture wasn't as clear as yours. So
Yeah. So, but yeah, so the other half of that stone was supporting this one up. So that kind of rules out the it split and fell over. This
I mean, if
picture here,
they named it a split stone, so they saw something on there that proved to them that it was a split stone.
yes, correct.
Laird would not call it a split stone if it wasn't.
There should be tool marks on each half. That's correct, Ford
Yep.
fan.
Okay.
What's your Ford fan? What's your favorite one? Mine's the 1969 Mach 1. Anyway, just a I saw that Ford fan. I'm like, I'm a Ford fan too. But the one thing I noticed too about this, it looks to me almost as if that stone, this stone here, did kind of over time kind of sink down. It seemed like it would have been standing up more, but who
Interesting.
knows? The 1958 Ford
Nice.
F-150. Wow.
That's a good one.
Didn't they have a Ford F-100 at one time too?
Oh, wow.
I thought they had a Ford F-100 back in the early days of, anyway, 3 in the tree, baby. Yep. But anyway, this is, I think they're right on the mark when they say that this was a marker of some sort, right on the mark. Because it's, and every one of them was jumping in saying that it was man-made. I don't think any of them were in disagreement on that.
It's so impressive too. Not just like as an ancient person would I be impressed, but just as a modern person. Like if I went to some land that I owned and hadn't been there in a couple months, and I show up and this thing was standing there fully upright, supported by all these boulders, I would be like, who were these people that did this? You know, and
Yeah, and
why-
this is not something that a Robert Young would have done. I don't think. I
No.
mean, we know Robert Young did this big circle of 13 foot around the
Mhm.
whatever the circular structure, but to move that stone, Marty needed a backhoe.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't think
Right.
Robert Young had a backhoe on the island because he wasn't allowed to use the causeway.
Hmm.
So
exactly.
could Young have done it? No, I don't believe so.
If they had Templars on the island, some of them were masons and worked the snow.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
no
true.
doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's
Those
just
sweet
like
men.
she said, such a strong argument for. And again, the people on this island had special knowledge and abilities.
Yep. Yeah, they did. I was just going to look on the synopsis here that Christy did for us, and thank you again, Christy,
Yep.
for putting these together. Now,
Good job.
appreciate that very much.
When she started, Jeff, everybody's listing their favorite Ford.
I know, right? Yeah, mine's still the Mach 1. The Mach 1
Nice.
with they had the Windsor 351 Windsor and the 351 Cleveland. And
You know what the most impressive thing about Fords is?
What?
Over 95% of all the Fords manufactured in the last 30 years are still on the road.
Oh, nice.
The other 5% made it home.
All right. I'm here all week. Yeah.
I'm a Dodge guy. What can I tell you?
I actually drive a Chevy now, so what can I say? But I do like the Mustang. Yeah, in 2009 they came out with the 40-year anniversary of the 69.
Oh, wow.
Man. Beautiful car. Found on road dead. Yeah, whatever.
Fix or repair daily.
Here was a picture example that
Yeah.
they had shown of the split stone structure in the Roman marker from back in the day. Very similar. Got a standing stone, a lot of small ones around it to hold it in place. Circa 80 AD. So there you go. So I think that's exactly what it was. Got this shot when they were talking in the research center, and I'm not sure. We're always looking. Tom and I and Seth, we're always looking for behind the scenes things. And I was looking at his laptop here, and I'm thinking that's lot 5. But we
Mhm.
were trying to figure out exactly if it is lot 5. But then you got these lines here on this one. Is that lot 5 and this is 6? What's going on here? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
This one's bigger than the rest of them. This is wider and shorter. So I was thinking this was lot 8. So it'd be 5, 6, 7, and 8. But was this the 2 areas that are considered the special place? I don't know. Special permit areas?
It could be. They could be. I don't know. I mean, but yeah, as you go up that 7, 8, 9, 10, or whatever it is, the lots get a little wider.
Yeah, they get wider and shorter.
Yep.
Longer and narrower here on these end. But yeah, and these 2 big white lines, I don't know.
Yeah, what does Zane say?
Yeah, Zane, what do you think? You're messing with these all the time. You think that's lot 5 and
Yes.
4 right here? These 2? I don't know. Anyway, we're always looking for little clues about things. Or I bet you're right. Fun fact: January 1965 Reader's Digest had a large advertisement introducing the Ford Mustang. Woohoo!
Wow, there you go.
Nice. Yeah.
Another great mystery.
And
Yeah, Zane said that's lot 5 with the
Lot 5.
permits.
Okay.
okay, good. Thank you. Yeah.
And those are the permitted areas, he said.
I would think so. Probably, yeah. Yeah. Permitted dash areas, special place.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Thanks.
So if they get out all of Steve's, you mentioned this earlier. I think it was you, Tom, that mentioned this earlier, where they were actually talking about and explaining Steve's equipment here, and I love that. I thought that was good.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know the magic staff wouldn't have worked in those trees.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, it's using satellite positioning, but yeah, he said it wouldn't work in the trees, so he had to go and get some other equipment out, and he took the time to explain it. And I thought that was great. As long as they don't do this now every week and to explain it every.
Yeah, once was good.
Once is good. We're good.
The thing I like the most about that shot right there is it shows you how big that stone is in the hole.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Compared to those, the full-grown guy standing up there, right? Look at the size of that stone.
Yeah.
It's
Very
as
good
wide as
point.
Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I used this particular picture when I did the thumbnail tonight. Like Jeff trying to use his internet under the trees. Yeah, I know, with the Starlink. Not this one. I'm on Verizon here, which is really smoking hot. But yeah, and so usually the Starlink is too if you have a clear shot of the night sky, the northern skyline,
Mm.
and you're not covered with trees like I was. Yeah, at one point in Florida. All the lots are 4 acres, thus the demand. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, good explanation. I do love this staff here. I mean, it had this like little. It looked like a crystal up here, like you know, a staff of a wizard or something having a crystal. on
You shall not pass.
Yes, exactly. But I think it was actually a mirror type thing, but it kind of looked like a crystal. It was really cool looking.
The crystal.
Yep. So what they were trying to get now, he had mentioned something about north south. When was it?
Yeah, it was north.
Rick
Yeah,
asked him if it was north south alignment of that thing.
Yep.
Okay, I thought so. And you see basically where it was. It's kind of in the middle of lot 5 there. Thank you, Joanna. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Very nice of you. Merry Christmas. So they're taking a sight line looking at that, going across lot 8, and then into lot 27. This is kind of the direction that they were looking for. Something that Tom, you had mentioned it too, that we know that there's something of huge significance coming out. It's that big giant boulder that they were looking at. Maddie Blake had kind of gotten underneath of on lot 8. Where was that on lot 8? My thinking was because we went by in the tram and we literally stopped right here in the tram, and they said no pictures of lot 8. And I don't know if Kat, if they told you the same thing or if you could see anything, but they said no pictures of lot 8. And I was looking into the woods and I could not see why. I mean, I could see like dirt moved and a road that was kind of going in there that wasn't the best, but I couldn't see what it was that we were not allowed to take pictures of. So my thinking was that this stone that they found is more in the middle of the lot versus towards the road.
Okay.
That was my thinking, but wouldn't that be something? Same thing on the November tour. Yeah, thank you, Lorraine. Wouldn't that be something if that big boulder crossed that line as well? And we're thinking that was the December triangle, maybe.
So the big boulder is the December triangle, or where?
No, the
we're
big
saying
boulder
lot
was the
8.
December triangle. Yeah,
The
yeah.
big boulder was that makes sense looking at the Xena map.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got it here on the side.
Yeah. So
Huh.
yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, just another little interesting point that I remember. Kat said they didn't say that could not see anything through the trees. Yeah, I couldn't either. You could see there was some kind of working going on in there, but I couldn't tell what it was from the tram because doing the best I could. They also had this gentleman here, Gary, out metal detecting at the same time, and you see what he's walking right over, another big boulder right there. I mean, but he's out there metal detecting along that line to see. He kind of veered off the line here a bit, and they did find this. They were off the line just a little bit, and they did find this, and he said it was a piece of strap. Don't know if it was or not, but it did kind of have a exhibiting what he thought was a square hole on one end.
Yeah, it's got that treasure chest kind of look to it.
That's no gentleman. That's scary. But yeah, so another good find. Art.
Wow.
Whoa.
For the Florida Internet Fund. Oh my gosh, Art, thank you so very much. Merry Christmas to you and Jan. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you, sir. And also, who was somebody? Joanne, thank you. Yeah, appreciate that. Wow. Merry Christmas. So yeah, we don't know what this was, but it was another interesting find. But yeah, so this points, there's kind of looking right at that area there where this is the driveway heading off to Nolan's house right here. And that's where those 2 pillars, stone pillars were with the gate across that you weren't allowed to to cross, but that's where the tram stopped right there. And it's kind of funny because we were right there when the tram stopped where this other stone is. Richard S. here, love all the work everyone puts in to make the J-free files happen for all of us to think about. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Jeff, Linda, Jan, Christy, Tom, Seth, Ziggy, and everyone else that works behind the scenes to keep up us all educated and speculating. Oh my gosh, why there? Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, Richard.
Thanks, Richard.
That is so kind of you guys. Thank you. Oh my gosh, Merry Christmas.
The stone wall, that's on 26, right?
Yes.
Okay, so they're kind of getting close to it.
Yeah. What the stone here was another one that they came across. It was sort of in the line. I think it was a little bit off the line, but again, he said there had no marks on it. But I tell you what,
had to throw it back. It wasn't a keeper.
What's that?
Had to throw it back. It wasn't a keeper.
I don't know, Seth. Would you dig this thing up anyway? I would.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Any big stone I find around that area, I'm digging it. I'm trowel. Where's that trowel? Come on, let's go. Let's get on this thing.
Probably getting a backhoe in there.
Yeah, no, not in
even
here.
Better.
I'm sorry, but and that's something I said in the title of tonight's show, talking about the very thing. The clues to the Curse of Oak Island mystery are hidden everywhere.
Yes.
And they keep stumbling across them. And you heard Rick say something about they things that they trip over. They're walking around and they trip over the stuff. Can you show us where the stone wall was on your map? Let's see. Well, let me hold on a second. Let me see if I can do that for you. But I got to find a bigger picture of the map.
Well, that's the thing, because when they find it, we get talking about that drilled stone, right? 5 years ago, that drilled stone didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Because it didn't connect to any place. So you couldn't connect it to anything. You save that information, and 5 years later, it becomes important.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I've learned from y'all's conversation with Jim McQuiston and I forget the other gentleman.
Doc.
Doc. Yeah. And same with David, where it's like there's so many artifacts now, and hindsight's 2020. So things, exactly like you said, the things that we thought were insignificant, and it's going to be the case not only with artifacts but actual physical sites. I bet more and more, because it's just so there's so much.
Yeah, Dave says small trees has been worked over. Yeah, that island has been farmed, refarmed, treed, retreed, cut down, mowed over.
Yeah,
you name it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's portions of this that have regrown time and time again, the trees on here. All right, so I found this map, and I don't have one that shows it exactly where it is, but if memory serves me, it runs right along here. It might be on the border. I'm trying to get, runs right along lot 26, like so, I think. If that's where, does that seem about right to you, Tom?
Yeah, it's pretty close, I think,
Yeah, and I don't think it went all the way. I don't think it came up all the way. It ended.
No.
But it was from
more down towards the shore.
Yes, almost like from the shore, at least halfway up the lot. Something like that. Okay, Doug says that's right. Okay, thank you, Doug. Appreciate that. I'm pretty sure that's exactly where the wall was. So if that helps you, get that. And so let's jump back to it. I think. Oops. All right. So yeah, this stone here may not have anything to do with anything, but I'd still dig it. This would dig it.
Dig it. Yep. You see that hole? Dig it.
Yeah, exactly. This is the one that was right on the edge of the driveway that goes into this area. It's like a construction materials area. And when we were there, the tram literally parked on the road right there. And there's that stone sitting there with a drill hole in it. Now, was that pushed out of the way for this driveway to come in there? Maybe. We don't know exactly where that stone was sitting, but man, I mean, it's a drilled stone. It does have importance.
I'd be turning that over to see what's underneath it.
Yeah.
Yes. And you heard him say something about he knew it was there. When Peter Finetti walked up by the stone, he knew it was there. He said something about the stone. Oh, isn't this where that? Oh, remember this or something like that. I can dig it. All right. But yeah, so this one was in line with that line that Steve is mapping out, heading along there, and it continues. There's that drill, the drill part, and that's
That
pretty
looks
good.
awful. To be honest, thing with me, that looked awfully smooth. It looked
Yeah, it did.
mechanically made,
Yeah,
but I don't know
yeah.
what method
I
did
mean,
they use to
yeah.
make them. I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah, it did look
Yeah.
a little bit more. The other holes that we've seen were not as the edges weren't as perfect.
Yeah, that's pretty uniform.
Yeah, he said Rick found it. Okay, thank you, Brian.
Yeah,
appreciate that. Yep. Metholithic polygonal stones boulders often have drill holes that can be star shaped.
Hmm.
I mean, I have seen ancient drills
A ton.
stuff that is very impressive and looks machine worked, and
Yeah.
I'm told is not. So
You know, you go to those ancient aliens and you look at some of those
right? Yeah, that's right. I'm like, I've seen a lot of Ancient Alien episodes that show
stuff
some
from the
impressive
ancient
stuff.
times that have sharp, straight edges, very cut. All those stones that are oh well, I can't think of the name of the place now. Yeah, Pikachu, something like that. Yeah. This was that one. Now they did talk about this for a few minutes. That they talked about because, as you know, Steve and Peter and Gary went on down to where Peter Amundsen, when he was on the show, and he was talking about the Tree of Life. He had
Mhm.
taken the Nolan's cross. He added the other points to it that John Edwards has talked about also. And Puma, thank you. That's it.
Pumapuku, yeah. Thank you,
Yes,
Larry.
thank you, Larry. That's the place I was.
You Pikachu.
Oh, you know,
That was so funny.
uh,
Sorry.
shows Guptal map overlaid on my. Oh, okay, good. I'll bring that up here in just a second. Thank you, Zig. So Peter Amundsen was there. He was talking about the Tree of Life, and he was talking about the Kingdom, the Kingdom Stone, which would have been the furthest most bottom stone of the Tree of Life. So you got the Nolan's cross, and you go down, and one more stone further down from the bottom of cone E, which is the bottom stone of Nolan's cross. One more stone down, and you got this. Now there has been, I think it was John Edwards was saying that the Kingdom Stone was actually in a different spot. I don't know. I mean, there was that talk about that, but regardless of that, this is a cut stone, a split stone,
Yeah.
and the other half is not there.
Yeah, that's what someone, I think Dave, he said, where's the other half? in the chat.
Exactly.
Yeah. And are those little drill holes in the center? Like
Yeah,
1,
you see
2?
you see these little spots. This was the 3 triangle
Oh, that's right.
spots that Peter Amundsen had pointed out right there, and I'll get rid of that so you can see. You can see the hole right here. And this one, you can't really see this one down here, but there is a mark right in there. It's hard to see, but again, it would have been prominent. Now, if I was thinking that if this was I was thinking this is more like a marker stone, but it's a split stone. Yeah, right. Oh, okay. But not a hole according to Petter. Okay. Linda asked him. All right, good. So it is an interesting stone, and they covered it back up. You heard them say that on the show that they covered it back up to preserve it. So when they got there, it was obviously just dirt there now, but that stone is underneath. But you would expect to see some kind of a drill hole in it or something, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and I'm kind of, I'm ignorant of a lot of things, but like you have to preserve rock. I kind of, or just preserve the placement, make sure nobody marks on it.
Yeah. They don't want it out in the weather.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a split stone.
Well, I guess you do if there's markings on it. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, so there's Petter when he was explaining everything to everyone.
But that, filling those things back in is not uncommon. I mean, we asked Laird one time what they did with, like Ball's Foundation or different places. What do you do with them in the wintertime to preserve them? He said, you fill the hole back in.
No. See, I forget about extreme weather and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. You living down there in Texas,
Just assume it's
extreme weather.
always,
What's that, right?
80 to 90 degrees.
Extreme weather for
around.
you is a big thunderstorm rolling through a
Oh
tornado.
yeah. That's why what happened to me last night. We lost power, and then I had to
Oh, see?
rewatch the show when we got it back around like 1 a.m. I was
geez.
up like I gotta watch the show.
Right. Yeah. Temple of Brutus said small holes to set the legs of a piece of survey or other type of equipment to set into. Yeah, that's true.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Very good.
Good idea.
Yep. Great point. So there's the tree of life that we spoke about, and that split stone would be this bottom one down here, the kingdom stone. Now, if that's it there, then that's cool. But it is a split stone, so that's without the other half being there. That's pretty remarkable. And I'll bet if they look around, they're going to find the other half of that split stone somewhere else on the island.
Mm-hmm.
I would almost lay money on it that other half of that split stone is somewhere else on the island, marking something important. I mean, you got another split and it broke nicely. I would use it for something else.
Oh yeah.
Here it is laid out on the island, as you can see. I was always very curious about this one right here.
Right, of course.
Out there in the swamp.
And that's right off the stone platform too.
Yeah, right. Yes, it is. Because the stone platform is like right here. Yep. So I would be looking for a stone out there if it were me.
Interesting.
I don't know. That's just what I would be. I'd be doing that. Of course.
And then, sorry, I was going to say the road crosses at the very top of the swamp, right into that other line.
Oh, the stone road?
Mm-hmm.
That one that came up this way?
Oh, at the very top of the swamp, didn't they? It's going towards lot 5.
Yep. That was right about in here. Going this way.
Yeah. So they've probably got another big stone over there.
Now
right?
you got this one down here. The stone road down here. So yeah. I don't know.
And there was one at the very the very top of the Nolan's Cross. Wasn't there a road heading towards that they kept finding the oxen, or was that more in the woods?
They were finding the oxen or ox shoes right around in this area.
Yeah.
Bottom of lot 15.
Okay, thank you.
Somewhere right in here, this general area when they were up working through that area in the woods. They found a bunch of axe heads somewhere over in this area.
And that's close to the prepping area for all those, or,
the stack of logs. Yeah.
Yep. The stack of logs.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Huh.
So yeah, I mean, there's just so many.
It's a busy spot.
It is. And that's why I still think the swamp's in play here, folks. I really do. There's there's something happening with the swamp and the fact that they went through all the trouble to make that Nolan's Cross to begin with.
So Nolan's Cross would have had to have been made after the creation of the swamp, right?
I'm sorry, say that again.
The cross would have to have been made after the creation of the swamp.
Would it?
Or could it have been made before?
I think it was made before. I think, but I don't know.
When it was still 2 separate islands.
Yeah, 2 separate islands.
Interesting.
The 2 separate island theory. Don't know. Honestly, don't know. Maybe that's why they put Nolan's Cross where they did, and they buried something very important out here at this cone, Mercy Point. I think that's called Mercy Point. I think that's what somebody was telling me here.
I think it is, yeah.
And then they built the swamp to further hide it.
There we go. Yep.
I know where I'm speculating here again, right? So, yeah, good thought. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's interesting. If it was 2 islands, why would you span the Nolan's Cross across it? don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, we could do this all day.
Yeah. Spinner said the west side of the swamp only dates to 1600s.
Okay, well then I would imagine the cross is older. Do we know the age of the cross? There's so much
1200,
information.
1200s, right? Supposedly, according to Professor Gaspani.
So the cross and the swamp creation are about the same, which makes sense with they're covering up whatever is here was very important.
Yeah.
And who was it? I know we talked about this. It was I forget their names. I'm spacing on it. The main treasure hunter guy on not the Nolan, but the other guy. His wife. There was an interview and they were talking about Mary, and someone in the chat said she's buried in the swamp.
Oh, yeah.
Which would be crazy. I mean, I know that sounds insane.
Why? At this point,
But but with like the whole cross, tree of life, all these different points.
The thing you have to ask yourself is, why do they make something like that?
Right.
Why do you make something like that? I mean, it's a lot of work. It's a heck of a lot of work. You're going to have to build platforms and stone roads and use oxen and, move these stones and rocks. You want somebody to be able to find that for some purpose or reason.
Right.
Because you're not going to just build it and walk away. You want somebody else to be able to see that or find it at some point.
Yep.
If it was never going to be seen, if you thought in your mind it was never going to be seen again, why would you waste your time?
Yeah.
So it's there for a purpose. It's there for a reason.
Absolutely.
And is it to show you this is the spot you need to go to? Okay, so from stone number 3, you go here, or stone number 4, you go there, whatever. But it's there for a purpose.
Yep.
Yeah, and it speaks to like the theories of there being biblical artifacts on here, is because whoever, like the Templars and these groups, they style themselves as the lineage of these biblical, lines. So of course they want to replicate that and leave their, like I was saying earlier, their own marks of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially if they're having items and artifacts of power and importance in addition to just treasure. Yeah, the religion, Zane said. And I'm not in any of those groups, so I don't know. For me, it's just total speculation where, you can't help but notice, or it's like, all these groups really like the tree of life. What's that about?
Yeah. It's very important, as Tom said, whatever the purpose is of Nolan's cross, it was something so important to them to go through all this effort to create it. New
like
Jerusalem, why not?
That's the book I was thinking of, and I should have just said it. New Jerusalem is a book that if you like thinking about stuff like that, and this wasn't just they didn't spend multiple generations just so they could have another bank deposit spot. This was maybe a staging area for their New Jerusalem.
Maybe so.
Great book. Everybody should read it.
Yeah. I can't say that that's not within the realm of possibility, because again, as we said 100 times already, the effort put into this, it just goes beyond pale. That it was so important to them to do this. So, and whether it is the tree of life, in fact, there are many that believe, the researchers that believe it is, that it was actually more stones to it making up the tree of life. So pretty interesting. I don't know.
I mean, regardless, just try and build Nolan's cross with modern day equipment, and you've got a job ahead of you.
Yeah. And what do they have? Oxen
and no causeway.
Yeah. And a bunch of logs to use for corduroy roads. Drag things around and make roads in the swamp. Date to the 1200s. And that's what was interesting too, is that the stone platform dated to about 1200 by that piece of wood that was smashed in between the rocks. And then you got Professor Gaspani saying that the Nolan's cross was also 1200s. Multi-generational.
And then there's hundreds of years between different people being.
Yep. Yeah. We talked about that divider that was found. Even if that thing dates to the earliest about 1450,
Mhm.
Okay, that falls in between Templars or
Yep.
Vikings being there and anyone else being there
Mhm.
later on in the 1600s, but a lot of stuff in the 1600s,
Mhm.
lots of things. So you got that span of time there in the middle that we do have a few artifacts coming up with that time frame. I don't know. There's another look at that split stone right there. You see how flat that thing is.
That is
That's-
impressive.
It is.
Every time I look at that stone, I think of that flat stone we saw New Ross, Alessandra's.
Yes. Yep.
Mm.
Yep. There was some pretty. There was, yeah. And oh gosh, who was it here? It's mentioned. Craig, Oklahoma Youper, had
Mhm.
mentioned there was like split stone looking stones in Aladdin's cave when the camera went down there.
Oh yeah.
Got to look
Yep.
at that.
Mhm.
So I mean, yeah,
Hmm.
pretty cool. I mean, this is all so dang interesting. Yeah. And I had Tom, remember when in this he
Sorry.
was talking about these two drilled stones there.
Yep.
And that line is leading you right to the Kingdom Stone or the bottom of Nolan's Cross. So
Yeah.
again, is that important? I think it is. I think this all falls into place. So I think this was a very good find and a good thing for them to be going off on to try to get answers
Yep.
to this Oak Island
And
mystery.
if lot 27, that portion of lot 27 is the high spot on the Western Drumlin, because you heard Steve refer to it as the high spot. Okay, well, you get two high spots. You got, if it was two islands, you've got the high spot on the Western Drumlin and a high spot on the Eastern Drumlin, which is lot 15.
Mhm.
So if you connect those two high spots between those two different locations, you're almost driving right down the, Nolan's Cross road there.
Road, yeah.
Like those are the two high spots. Those are where your survey markers are, your cairns and your survey markers and your measuring device. You're going to measure from point A to point B, as Steve says, by line of sight.
Yep.
Well, your line of sight's your two highest spots.
Yep. Yeah. And him talking about that being a high spot, I was like, no, it's not. Over in lot 15 it was. And then you had mentioned, well, if it was two islands,
Mhm.
high spot on the Western Drumlin, high spot on the Eastern Drumlin. I'm like,
Correct.
geez, here we go again. Two
Yep.
islands.
I don't know. I was just something I was thinking about today, thinking, well, maybe.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Why not? And who owned them?
Wow. That's
Same group of suspects.
Same group of suspects, indeed. Yep.
man.
Yeah, there's your high points right there. Your two high points. And look at that, folks. I mean, you can see this is lot 15 up here. That's your high point on the Eastern Drumlin. And then your high point in the Western Drumlin is over there, lot 27 on the center road.
Yep.
Hmm.
There's your line of sight. As Steve was talking about the line of sight.
Yep. I know we could do, and then I took these two pictures here and put them side by side so you could kind of
Yep.
see yeah, the difference between these two stones. Pretty remarkable, isn't it? Yep. So I think
a lot of work went into that.
yes, it did. For what? For a marker. I am on board with them. I think this was a marker stone. This pile
No
of
doubt in
stones.
my mind.
Yeah,
No
it's
doubt
a
in my
marker.
mind.
And where it leads, I think, is important to. And like I said, any of those stones that are sticking up like that, I'd be digging them because you never know what you're going to find. How many times did they walk by this and not
Wasn't
even
important.
think twice about it?
Wasn't important. It was just a stone sticking into the ground.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot more of them. So, man, I don't know, folks. There's like I said, the clues are hidden everywhere, all over Oak Island. If it might take a season 20 before we get to some more of them, but
I hope not. I mean, don't. Yeah. I hope we have way more answers if there is still a season 20.
I think we will. I think we're getting closer. That's the thing. With this whole exercise, I think they're getting closer in the money pit to finding if there is still a treasure. And again,
Yep.
the thing I hang on to with that is the water sample saying that there's high, gold and silver and other materials in the water. That keeps me hanging on that there's something in there. So next time on the Curse of Oak Island, they get another hit in the mud. Now, this one, I thought I saw somebody actually pick something up and pick it up out of that mud, but it was so fast. I mean, they were clipping through it, and we know fancy editing. Thank you, Prometheus. Was it just a hit, another phantom hit? They're going to have to check for in the mud. Don't know, but could be. And I don't know, but this kind of looks like lot 4 to me. Looks like they're in the spoils.
I think it is.
Lot 4.
Yeah. I didn't look that closely at it, but I think it's your lots 4 stuff. Again.
Well, they put the spoils from the dig in lot 5.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
But they found something else, and look what's behind Gary over here. Did you see that?
Very interesting looking rock.
Yeah, look at that rock right
Very flat.
Remember how he said the other half of that Kingdom Stone rock is somewhere?
Interesting. So it's on lot 4. Now we know.
It's
Good
on
job,
lot
Jeff.
5. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. But they find something over there that Gary's pretty excited about, and he was high-fiving Rick. I don't know what it is. If they find no gold soon, it will stop. I think maybe. I think let's put it this way. And I've said this before. If they've exhausted the money pit completely and they still find nothing and they decide to stop looking in the money pit, the story's not over.
No, for sure. There's so many mysteries.
The story is not over at that point.
But how will the show go on, and will it change without that driving aspect of it being a treasure hunt? That's a good question. And who knows what that could be like.
Even if the cameras go away tomorrow, Rick will not give up until he has the answers he needs, or he's too old to continue looking, but he will not give up. He's going to keep at it. So.
Yeah, those stories aren't going anywhere either. They'll be there forever for people to discover and rediscover and write new books about. And
yeah, I agree. So Gary finds something he's excited about, and he's high-fiving Rick. And then we got, what was her name? I know you gave it to me.
Can't remember.
I thought she gave it to me, but she finds something really interesting that she's very excited about. Excuse me. Now we look at the fancy editing again. Was it this? Because that was shown right shortly thereafter in that clip for next week. It was shown that they are analyzing some sort of looks like a gem or something. You can see it down here in the bottom. You can see a closer analysis of it there, and then the close up of it here.
Yeah.
On the XRF, I don't know. What do you think? I don't know, but now listen to we're going to be combining. We're going to be combining the shows together. The next 2 episodes for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be combining together on January 2nd, which is a Friday. And Linda and I we were talking about this before the show started tonight. On the 30th, well, let's say the next week's show is called Into the Fold. And I didn't write down the description, but the 30th, it says so close yet sonar. So close yet sonar is the name of it. So they're sonaring something. And then he also said this. There was something about a find that was found on next week's episode could have something religious to it. And then they said on the 30th show, sacred religious artifact.
Ooh. Sorry.
Team drills through something important or in the money pit. Linda, do you want to come on and just give those real quick? Those descriptions. I forget. I don't have them anymore. I don't
have them here either.
There you are.
What?
What was the description of the next 2 shows? Because that's important, folks. Don't go away just yet. Hang on.
Okay, on the 23rd, it says after a new Bobby Dazzler is unearthed on lot 5.
Lot 5, Bobby Dazzler. Yep.
The Oak Island team makes a discovery with possible religious implications. Then when you go to the 30th, oh shoot, where is it? So close, yet sonar.
Yep.
After verifying a recent find on Lot 5 to be a sacred religious artifact,
Wow.
the team drills through a surprising discovery deep in the money pit area.
Wow.
Hmm.
So there you go.
There you
There you go.
The next two could be very exciting.
Yep.
They sound like they could be pretty fun.
Yes.
Mhm.
So
Why are they doing that? Christmas Eve,
I know, right?
New Year's
Maybe
Eve.
it's our Christmas present.
Yeah.
Maybe
there we
Santa.
go. Yeah, they're giving us gold and menorahs.
Yeah, something
Right.
cool.
Santa's
Sunflower
sleigh being pulled by
artifact.
oxen.
Yeah, I'm
I'll be
ready to watch it now too. I did want to mention this. You've seen a few hats or shirts being worn by the lab team or the archaeology team that says OIMAS. Well, we figured out what that was. I think Linda did. I don't know, was this you or Jan or but it is their team. The Oak Islands Materials and Archaeological Services is the only laboratory in Atlantic Canada to offer XRD, XRF, and XRM data collection. So this is them. This is the lab on Oak Island. Oak Island MAS. Yeah. So cool.
It is also the only lab anywhere run strictly by women.
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow. That's
Awesome.
really cool too. So yeah, I had to share that real quick, and
Just
that's
saying.
them over there looking in the on the screen there. So that's really cool. And then also I had this picture here, and I just had to share it because they showed it. You know, when they say later that afternoon over in the money pit, or
Mhm,
the next
mhm.
morning in the money pit, they showed good old C1.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
The casing on C1. This is the one they normally for tours and stuff when they take this and they set it on the money pit where C1 is. This is just the top can part of it, you know. They remove it obviously because they cut it off and covered it. But you know, and you're looking back in time, the casing size 43 inches, and then the casing depth of 167, drill depth of 176 with a 6-inch. And then the excavation depth down to 194. And you see where it says cavity right there. Cavity. Remember that cavity? There was a cavity down there. Found a big cavity, and there was some sort of like wrought iron or something down there. Pieces of what looked to me like wrought iron down there. What was that all about? I mean, C1 is still, and it was September 14th in 2016. So, wow, almost 10 years ago.
Whoa.
Yeah. Whoa. I had to keep that picture because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's C1. There it is. And you think about it, it's like, wow, was that really that long ago? It really
It
was.
seemed possible. doesn't it?
Yeah. So anyway, folks, I wanted to thank you for being here with us tonight and going through this. And remember, if there's something earth-shattering in next week's episode, Tom and I will do our best to come on and at least talk about it a little bit on on Christmas Eve. Doing news at noon. Also wanted to just say again about James McQuiston. I did go up and attend the funeral, and because he very close to here, and it was very, very, very. The family got up and spoke about Jim, and you could just tell the love that they had. His children, his grandkids. I mean, everybody. It was just really, really heartfelt. Jim was a great guy. He was so much of a good friend to me and to us and the show and all the work he'd done on Oak Island. Man, I miss the guy. I really do. And just wanted to kind of mention that again real quick because it was really a good service. And I talked to his wife, Beth, for a moment and just kind of relayed our heartfelt feelings for him and how he's missed by everybody. Connected with Oak Island, you know, all of us. And that includes all of you in the chat, all the viewers as well, everybody too. So anyway,
reading his obituary was so moving. He was such a prolific author, but also just such a prolific human being. Like it seemed like his depth with Oak Island was not just Oak Island, it was all parts of his life. I didn't know he was a musician. Maybe I should have known that.
Yeah. I played. He
And
played all
him,
that stuff.
him and his wife playing together, so beautiful. What a life, what a legacy. Just such a loved man. And like you said, I never got to interact with him, but I feel like I knew him, and I was gutted, like I'm sure everyone else, to hear about his passing. And thank you for going. I feel like you were our representative. So thanks, Jeff.
Well, I just felt it was important. So so Christina and I went up there, and I never met Beth before, and we got a chance to talk to her a little bit. But it really was great. So rest in peace, James. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, rest in peace, James.
So, all right, folks. Well, thank you very much for joining us here tonight. And well, if all goes well, we'll see you again on January 2nd. We'll do it again. And like I said, if anything earth-shattering comes out, we'll see you on Christmas Eve for a little news at noon. We'll try to do something quick just to keep everybody going. Until then, if I don't talk to you before then, Merry Christmas, everybody, and Happy New Year to each and every one of you. And again, thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out here with our speculation team, Seth and Tom and Linda and Jan and Christy now helping us with the synopsis. Thank you guys so very much. And those of you supporting the show, thank you very, very much. So Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
And we'll catch you next time right here on the J Free 906 podcast.